My name is Christi Jackson. I am the Executive Director of the Conservancy at Historic Washington Park, and I am also the current APAP rep for Neighborhood Planning Unit K. So in regards to what this panel is about with transportation and environment, Washington Park converges on almost every issue that we are talking about. The MARTA station has been there since the late 70s. The Beltline will have a main entrance at the back of the tennis center, and Parker Creek goes directly up under the park itself. It forks up under the baseball field and to the left side of the natatorium on Ollie Street. In addition to that, there are at least 3 blocks within the neighborhood that are affected by flooding, stormwater, runoff. So that's how we fit into all of that. Aside from that, what I would like to just say, I always like to bring things back to a historical perspective. And I think that there's some things that need to be clear, because I think quite often we look at what's going on now and think it's so bad and it's so impossible. And we forget about the land that we're actually sitting on and what happened previously. So if you take where we are now, this area, this actual land was all the Walkendorf greenhouses back prior to and just after the Civil War. And the Walkendorf family provided a tremendous amount of food for the city of Atlanta. One of the Walkendorf sons became an architect, and he was actually the architect that did the work on Booker T. Washington High School. He was hired by Heman Perry in the 20s when Mr. Perry decided that he was going to be the person to make sure that there was a high school for black people in this city, really in this state, because prior to Booker T. Washington High School, there was nowhere else to go to school. Prior to the park, there was nowhere else for black people to recreate. So I want to put that in perspective from this point of view. We're doing fine with Georgia Tech. Anything that we need, Dr. Faulkner, Dean Royster. I spoke with Dean Royster over a year ago when she announced that, I saw announcements that this was going to happen. And I called her personally and spoke with her, and I said, well, what's going to be any different than what we already deal with? Because I've been to plenty of Atlanta University Consortium dinners, can I get an amen, where I'm asked to stand up and say, what are your problems? What can we do to help you? And then when I give that information, and I say, well, don't give me too much. Wait a minute, hold on. And then I give an email, and then I call and simply say, how do I reach your volunteers? I know that your students have to do community service. I can't get a return call on that. So I have no problem with Georgia Tech. I applaud them, I thank them, I appreciate them. Some students came out yesterday to help us complete our housing assessment. That will help us on multiple levels. The problem goes back to the history. The Atlanta University Center and this area were built by people who lived here. You always lived here. If you worked at Clark, you lived over here, whether it's English Avenue, Vine City, or Washington Park. So we're not recreating the wheel. If you look at MLK now, that is not what was there. What was there was created to provide for black people because they had no choice. A private hospital, a dentist, the pharmacy, a laundry, everything that you see, that all of us take for granted. Black people created that in the 20th century. So this is not something that we've got to figure out, how does this happen? No, we just simply have to have the will to put it back the way it was. This is about choices. This is about choices. One of my pet peeves is that a lot of the students like to come over for the annual beer bash just before finals. They come over for 2 hours, they block up all the streets, they throw cases in the park, they stomp the park, and then they walk away. But then, you know, when we say, how can we get you to come over and volunteer? Well, it's not safe, and you know, as I said, we had 12 students yesterday, nobody had a problem. So those are the type things, you know, there are a lot of fallacies, there's a lot of misconception. And the opportunity to hear, this is Atlanta. We can do anything that we want to do. This is not anything that requires deep thought. If you are studying architecture, I've got a project for you. If you're studying environment, we've got a project. It's just simple as that. We all are aware in our community of where our problems are. When you talk about dealing with individuals, and then like I know someone has said about removing barriers. I spoke with a gentleman yesterday when I was in the park. I had no idea he was homeless. He let me know that. And he had just said, well, I got an opportunity to get a job, but if I don't have anywhere to sleep tonight, I'm not going to be ready to go. And then, well, this phone is dead, and this phone I have 250 minutes tomorrow. There's so many different layers that we take for granted that keep somebody from getting over to the other side. And so that's just the message. I mean, but as I say, as far as Washington Park is concerned, as far as the historic leadership that has been there, we know where our problems are, and quite frankly, we just need, you know, a little bit of assistance from time to time. We need hands, we need feet, we need minds, we need people who can just enter information into the computer. It's not a lot of difficulty. So again, I really personally want to thank Dr. Faulkner, Cherie, my friend, my confidant, but she's the person that I know I can call. I can get tech students, I can get some sort of level of expertise from tech, and that's crucial to all of these issues. Thank you so much.